So, Hari Om Shravan, can you hear me?
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah, Shravan. Ask the question. What is the question you are asking?
The question is when in Nididhyasa, an individual recognizes that he is not the body, mind, and intellect, and he is Brahman as a.
So the question is when he recognizes, how does he recognize? Is that question?
Yeah, how he recognizes, and then he finds the immanence in that same immanence in of Brahman in all the other jivas.
Okay. Okay.
Then how does he transcend that he's how does he go through transcendence that he's beyond all the jivas?
Okay. So let us take let me ask the your question is how does one recognize he is Brahman? Okay. So then how the essential meaning of transcendence and immanence. Okay. So let me take the first. Let me define what is transcendence and immanence. We have to understand the word transcendence and immanence. Transcendence means going beyond waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. That's the meaning of transcendence. Immanence means all experiences in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. Is that clear? The definition of transcendence, immanence is clear?
Okay. So being one with something is immanence, and
No. Being one with something is not. Any objective experience in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state belongs to comes in the domain of immanence.
Okay.
A purely subjective experience, purely subjective reality, it comes in the transcendence.
Okay, so objective experience is immanence, and subjective experience is transcendence.
Pure subjective experience, not pure subjective, pure subjective experience.
Pure subjective experience. Okay.
Right. So immanence and transcendence is clear. The word immanence and transcendence, because immanence we have a lot of confusion about it. Any experience which involves the object, okay, is immanence comes into picture. The objective experience comes in the form of the objects of the world, sun, moon, river, earth. Okay, it's at the perception level. At the mental level, it's thoughts, feelings, emotions. All those things are objective in nature. Correct?
Yes.
There the immanence comes into picture. The word immanence applies. So now there's slight confusion here. We see the world is objective and thoughts, feelings are subjective. So these thoughts, feelings, emotions are subject and the world is object. Correct? So in reality, thoughts, feelings, emotions are also object. That means what I call a subject is also object.
Okay.
Understand the difference?
Yes.
So our entire experience, any experience has a subject and object. Subject is me and object is the world.
Yes.
When I say me, it is a body, mind, intellect. This me.
Yes.
Right? And the world is an object. So me experience the world. That's what my definition of subject and object. Correct?
Correct.
So now, what I don't know, the me is also an object. Right? Vedanta teaches me that me is also an object. Me is not a subject. Correct? That's the next level of understanding.
Yes.
So when I speak of immanence from the Vedanta point of view, it refers to the what is available to perception in the form of world. What is available to experience, mental experience, what is happening to subjective experience like thoughts, feelings, emotions. All this I have to consider for immanence. Right? Including thoughts. Right?
Yes.
So what is objective is about immanence. What is pure subject is transcendence.
Yes.
This definition is clear?
Yes, this is clear.
Okay. So now we have to take normally a devotee, bhakta. Bhakta does not know anything about transcendence.
Mm.
Bhakta starts with the immanence. God is present everywhere. In the stone, in the mountain, God is everywhere. Is the devotee what it very starts? Immanence.
Mm.
Correct?
Mm.
So that's what devotee is about. Bhakta, devotion is about. Devotion to Ishvara is about immanence. Focus on the immanence.
Mm.
He doesn't even know that his body mind is also a part of the is also an object. He doesn't know. That's why he's not transcended.
Mm.
For him, the concept is me is there and God is there.
Mm.
His idea of immanence is God is everywhere.
Mm.
Okay, he is referring to perception, world of perception, where he is separating himself from the, or he has a subject object duality there for a devotee.
Mm.
Correct?
Mm.
That's where a devotee starts.
Yeah.
A Jnana Yoga, on the other hand, starts, who am I? Who is the subject? It starts from here. It doesn't bother about the world first. It starts with the object, a subject. Who is me?
Mm.
So then there is a separation of Atma and Anatma, self and non-self.
Yes.
What is non-self? The body, mind, and intellect is non-self. This we call in Vedanta Pancha Koshas.
Yes.
Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha is not me. Nara Anatma.
Mm.
This separation is done. Right? This process of separation is a process of negation. Neti, neti, neti.
Mm.
Not this, not this, not this. Correct?
Yeah.
So after not this, what is left? What cannot be negated, right?
Yeah.
There is something which you cannot negate, no?
Yeah. That is the I.
That not the I as a thought, but not the one who is negating, he cannot be negated.
He cannot be negated. Yes.
There's awareness and existence. You cannot negate your existence.
Correct.
Right? You cannot never negate your awareness.
Mm.
Correct, no?
Yes.
So that is what is left. Awareness and existence is left.
Mm.
Many people who don't understand Vedanta, they after negation, they'll say Shunya is left.
Okay.
Nothingness is left, they'll say.
Mm.
So what they ignore is one who is aware of Shunya is left.
Yes.
The aware of Shunya, the one who is aware of nothingness, which is myself, existence, and awareness is left.
Yes.
Correct, no?
Yes.
So now, this existence and awareness, existence is called Chit, Sat.
Sat.
Awareness is called Sat. Sorry, awareness is called Chit. Existence is called Sat.
Yeah, Satchit.
Okay, that is left. That you cannot negate anytime.
Correct.
Correct. Everything else you can negate.
Mm.
So this is actually what you call as pure existence or pure consciousness. Both mean same thing. Pure awareness, pure consciousness, or pure existence is left. You cannot negate that.
Yes.
Can you come and say I don't exist? You cannot. Can you
No.
come and say no? I'm not aware. You cannot say that.
Mm.
That's a fundamental reality which you cannot negate.
Mm.
But people end up in saying, oh, there's a blankness is there. There's a shunya is there. They'll say after negation.
Yes.
What they're ignoring is you are aware of shunya and blankness. Blankness of shunya also appears and disappears. The one who is aware of that exists. That is me. That is the self. Right? So that's where a Vedanta involves a negation process. First, neti, neti, neti. Not
Yes.
the body, not the mind, not the intellect. Okay.
It's a
Then
negation
it's an
of
assertion
everything.
process.
Yes.
Sorry?
It is a negation of everything in awareness.
Negation of every object in awareness.
Object in awareness.
Right? But awareness itself cannot be negated.
Yes.
Existence cannot be negated.
Yes.
So now, what happens by the process of negation is any superimposition on the awareness goes. The body, mind, and intellect is superimposition on awareness. That superimposition you're removing through the process of negation. Correct, no?
Yes.
It's like space is limited. The pot space is limited by pot walls.
Correct.
If part wall is removed physically or part wall is removed logically, what is there is space, which is infinite.
Correct.
So the awareness and existence, what I have recognized, is infinite. You have to accept it because there's no other solution.
Correct.
It's an acceptance. It's not an experience.
Mm.
Infinity cannot be experienced. That if infinity is experienced, it becomes finite.
Yes.
Correct, no?
Yes.
So negation process has left you to something which cannot be negated, which is awareness and existence,
Mm.
which is not finite because negation has removed the finite.
Yes.
So when finite is removed, what is there is infinite only. Infinite, you cannot experience it.
Correct.
Correct, no? So now acceptance is required. After negation, they say acceptance is required.
Mm.
Negation is a negative process. Not this, not this, not this, neti, neti, neti.
Yes.
Acceptance is a positive process. This is Brahman.
Yes.
Okay. So now the negation and acceptance both happens in the mind only.
Correct.
Mana eva karanam manushana bandha mokshayo. Right?
Yes.
So a negation followed by assertion is what we call as transcendence. Then you accept after the negation, what cannot be negated, what is left is Brahman, and that is myself, because there's no other me. Me and Brahman is not there.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
So,
So now, sorry.
Yeah. Let's that sentence again. Transcendence is negation followed by acceptance of.
So transcendence means initially there's a negation of what is not Atma, Anatma.
Yes.
You negate. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I'm not the intellect. You negate.
Mm.
But negation itself will not lead you anywhere. Always a positive recognition required, no, anytime.
Correct.
Right? Say, for example, you send your driver to airport
Mm.
and ask the driver to find your friend who is coming from America.
Mm.
So then the driver doesn't know the friend. He says, oh, I'm seeing a bald man. Is he your friend? You say, no. I'm seeing a man who has a beard. Is he your friend? No. So finally there's a negation is happening. Not this, not this, not this.
Mm.
Then you say, I'm seeing a person, okay, who is wearing cooling glass and who is 6 feet tall. Then you say, yes, my friend is 6 feet tall.
Mm.
Okay. So then your assertion is required. Negation itself will not lead you anywhere. Negation plus assertion is required for identification.
Mm.
Correct?
Mm.
So you have negated, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. Then the assertion is required. What is left?
I am aware. That is left.
I am aware. Now you have to accept that it's infinite.
Mm.
Correct? Because infinite you cannot experience now.
So I am aware has no finiteness left to it because there's no object that can be finite.
I am aware has no finiteness left to it.
Mm.
So when finiteness is not left to it, it is an infinite which is there. That's called Brahman. This you have to accept it.
Okay.
Then you have to accept that, oh, there's no me and Brahman. There's only Brahman is there. What I used to call me so far is nothing but that awareness only, existence only, which is infinite. That you have to accept.
Yes.
Correct? So
yes.
two acceptance is required. One is what is left is infinite, you have to accept. You cannot look for a experience of infiniteness. It will never happen.
Yes.
The moment you experience infinite, it becomes finite. So it's not infinite.
Yeah, because experience is connected with me.
Me, right? So you have to ignore, you have to negate what is anatma. You have to recognize what is left is awareness and existence. Then you have to understand this awareness existence is infinite. Ananta.
Yes.
Okay. It cannot be anything else. When the finiteness is gone, what remains is infiniteness.
Correct.
So our problem in spirituality is we want to grab that infiniteness. I want to get the experience of infiniteness. I look for an experience of infiniteness. It is not possible.
Yes.
Right? So now what is left there is awareness and existence. You have to accept it. The acceptance has to come to mind. It is infinite. That acceptance you have to do. Your mind will reject it. Mind will say there's something more.
So essentially what we are saying is awareness is infinite. When it is connected with me, it becomes finite.
It won't become finite. It appears to be finite.
It appears to be finite.
The
Okay.
awareness is infinite. When me is superimposed on that, it appears to be finite.
Finite. Oh, yes.
Awareness can never become finite.
Okay.
There's no becoming.
Yeah.
Like the space is infinite.
Mm.
The pot wall makes it appear as finite.
Okay.
The space has not become finite. It can never become.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah. But then attention is only that portion of the awareness which is inside the glass. Is that true?
No, attention, initially your attention was inside the glass. Now I'll come to the attention, okay? Attention part. First, let us understand what is the acceptance and what is rejection.
Okay.
Negation means I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. Assertion means what is left is Shiva Swarupi Brahman. Is that clear?
Yes.
So that understanding is clear, right?
Mhm.
Now, so any Vedanta, any transcendence involves negation and acceptance.
Yes.
So now, what is the meaning of mind cannot reach it? Mind cannot reach Atman, right? It is beyond body, mind, and intellect. Atman is body, mind, intellect. Mind cannot reach it. Mind cannot comprehend Atman. What is the meaning of that?
Basically, it is mind accepting that awareness is not limited to itself.
No, the acceptance of by mind. Okay, mind wants a name and form.
Yes.
So say a banana is there. Okay, mind wants a form of banana and name for banana. Then mind can understand it. Mind can understand what is their name and form is there. Is that clear?
Yes.
So now, awareness and existence, there's no name and form. So mind cannot, awareness cannot be objectified.
Correct.
So that's why mind will never comprehend awareness.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. But how? But we know awareness.
No. Here,
Awareness is, we are aware. I don't know whether we are no awareness or not, but awareness is self-knowing, right?
yeah. But what happens is that we want always something mind can grab.
Yes.
Mind wants the experience. Mind
Correct.
wants the experience of awareness as an object.
Oh, so experience is limited to objectifying and naming and forming.
Yeah. So mind will never be able to objectify experience. Mind will be never able to name awareness. Name and form are not there for awareness. That's why mind will never be able to grasp awareness.
Yes.
Correct, no?
Yes.
That what you understood?
Yes.
So mind is good in eliminating, because what you are eliminating, body, mind, intellect, there's a form.
Correct.
So that you can eliminate. So mind is good in that.
Yes.
But mind cannot grasp awareness because awareness is not an object.
Correct.
It's a pure subject.
Yes.
So now Vedanta teaches mana eva karanam manushanam bandha mokshayo. Correct, no? Mind alone is the cause of bondage.
Yes, and moksha as well.
Yeah. How the mind becomes cause of bondage? Mind becomes a cause of bondage because it objectifies the self. You got what I'm saying?
Okay. Is objectified.
Self objectifies me, body, mind, and intellect.
Correct.
So
when
the moment,
I is there, it is connected with the my body, my mind, and my intellect. Yes.
No, not my body. I am body, I am mind, I am intellect. My body is also an external.
Okay.
Right? So the mind objectifying the self is the bondage. The bondage is not the world. Body is not samsara. Objectifying the self is the bondage for the mind.
Yes.
Correct? So we think that the world is a bondage, samsara is a bondage, wife is a bondage, husband is a bondage, job is a bondage. No.
Mm.
It is the mind's nature of objectifying everything is the cause of bondage.
Mm.
Is it clear?
Yes.
So now, Manayeva Karanam Manushanam Banda. What I understood is Banda. Banda means
Correct.
objective in the self, in the form of body, mind, intellect.
Mm.
Sometimes it goes beyond also. I
Mm.
become my job, I become my wife, I become my husband, I become my lover. So it's
Mm.
becoming Ahankara and Mamakara is a bondage.
Yes.
You know the difference between Ahankara and Mamakara?
Yes.
Ahankara means self-identity.
Yes.
What I consider myself.
Yeah.
Body, mind, intellect. That's called
Correct.
Ahankara in the primary sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes I identify more than that. Sometimes I identify the car or identify the job, identify the position.
Yeah. My thing. Yeah. That is
Not my.
Mamakara.
My means Mamakara.
My means
am.
Mamakara. Yeah.
Whatever you call as I am is Ahankara.
Yeah.
So for
I
example,
is
I am the manager.
Ahankara. My is
I am the manager is Ahankara. Okay. Now you have gone beyond your body and mind. You have become manager.
Yes.
I am the boss. Ahankara. Now bossism also is included in your Ahankara. Your Ahankara circle is larger. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the larger the Ahankara circle, more is the pain which you can suffer.
Yeah.
Right? You are the boss today, tomorrow you will not be a boss. Thrown out. You are the body today, body will go through old age. You'll be having pain, suffering. So Ahankara causes intense suffering. Is that clear? Okay. Now Mamakara is what belongs to me. Ahankara means what I am, self-identity. Mamakara means what belongs to me because of self-identity. So Ahankara is Aham husband is the Ahankara. Mamakara is this is my wife is Mamakara.
Yes.
Ahankara is the I am the boss is Ahankara. Mamakara is this is my power. I have these powers. I can sign a check of 1 crore. That's Mamakara. Is the difference between Ahankara and Mamakara clear? Huh? Is it clear?
Yes.
So Ahankara causes you intense suffering. Mamakara causes you resurrection suffering. Correct? So first you negate Ahankara, what I am not. How do you do that?
Yes.
Nanu, nanembudu, nanalla. You definition, nanu means my self-identity. Whatever self-identity is, I am not that. Negate it. Nanu, nanembudu, nanalla means it includes all nanu, all self-identity. Whether I am the boss, husband, body, mind, intellect. Ideha, mana, buddhi, nanalla. That's a primary self-identity. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. Nanu, nanembudu, nanalla means negate all self-identity. Don't leave anything.
Yeah.
Ideha, mana, buddhi, nanalla, negate the body, mind, intellect as self-identity.
Yes.
Right? Sachidananda Atma Shivananu Nani. Now you have to ascertain what you are. Right? The positive part. Negation part is over. The positive part is I am Sachidananda Atma. Sat Chit is awareness. That you can say I can't negate it. But now you have to accept it's Ananda. Ananda means infinite. That becomes very difficult for the mind to accept. It will ask me a question, how do I get the experience of infinite? Right?
Yes.
There you have to tell the mind, my dear mind, infinite cannot be experienced. Okay? That's why it's infinite. That's why what Sat Chit is there is Ananda Swarup also is you have to tell the mind. That's the acceptance.
Okay. This is this acceptance is actually intellectual acceptance.
Everything is intellectual only. Whole Jnana is intellectual only.
Okay.
Right? Atma doesn't require Jnana. Brahman doesn't require Jnana. Jiva requires Jnana. Entire problem of Jiva is Adnana. and Jnana is required for the Jiva only, nothing, nobody else. And Jnana for the Jiva comes from the intellect only.
Okay.
It doesn't come from kidney, it can come from liver, it can come from brain. It has to come from the intellect only.
Okay.
Right? I have not heard of kidney Jnana. Right? So this is where people are getting confused by Vedanta teaching. Okay. Mind cannot grasp Atma is correct. Yato vacho nivartante. Words cannot grasp it. Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
So what they don't understand is that the mind cannot grasp Atma as an object. That you have to understand. That's the meaning of that.
Yes.
But mind has to accept Atma as the subject. As the pure subject, which is after negation, what limit is a pure subject, the mind has to accept.
Here, Atma means mind has to accept the awareness is the pure subject.
Existence awareness is infinite, you have to accept first.
Existence and awareness as pure.
Existence awareness, infinite, you have to accept first. Because finite is removed now.
Yes.
You have to accept this infinite, you have to accept. Is it clear?
Yes.
What is infinite? It's called Brahman, means infinity. Brahman means Brahat, infinite. Correct?
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
in that Brahat, there's no I and Brahman. Atma is Brahman, you have to accept, because whatever Atma I used to call Atma, that is Brahman, you have to accept. Right?
Okay.
So now, acceptance has to happen in the mind.
Okay.
Right? This is the meaning of Mana eva karanam bandha mokshayo. Moksha happens in the mind only.
Okay.
So moksha happens to the mind, in the mind, because mind was always trying to grab the self and make it an object. Like the body and mind and intellect. So negation process has made self as a pure self. That pure self is called Pratyagatma, innermost self. Then you have to accept the Pratyagatma has no limitation. That's why it's Brahman. Correct, no? So Pratyagatma, you have gone to you are not gone to Brahman actually. You have gone to your own innermost self and you have understood awareness and existence is there. That you have understood.
Correct.
From your point of view, it's Atma, my Atma.
Correct.
Correct, no? Then you have to recognize this Atma has no limitation. That's why it's Brahman.
Correct.
That's the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi. Whatever you call as Aham is Brahman. You have to understand.
Okay.
Understand? This is an understanding and this is acceptance by the mind. That's why Mana eva karanam mokshanam bandha mokshayo. Moksha also happens in the mind only.
Okay.
So why mind is beyond mind? Because Atma cannot be grasped as an object. Why Jnana happens in the mind? Because mind has to accept that Atma is Brahman, infinite, without getting experience of Atma. Right? Mind to accept.
Okay. Okay.
Got it now?
Yes. So that is a mistake. Always trying to experience that which cannot be experienced is the limitation.
But mind will never accept it. Mind will say, I want to experience before I accept.
Right.
Understand? Mind puts a condition, right?
Yes.
I have to experience it to accept it.
Yes.
So the mind has to understand, you have to accept something which cannot be experienced. That is the flip.
Yes, that's the flip. Okay.
That's the crux. Right? So the mind model of the mind is,
correct.
If I experience something, it is real. That's the model of the mind, correct? So here, the mind has to accept that if I cannot experience it, it's infinite and it cannot be negated, so it's real. So these two things have to be accepted by the mind. The belief system of the mind has to change now.
Yeah.
Correct? That's the acceptance.
Yes.
Now, this is what is called Nididhyasa. Nididhyasa means accepting my higher self, which is Brahman. as myself. Got it?
Okay.
So the model of the mind is you will never accept
Yeah.
it. So if I say, hey Shravan, you are a husband, you'll accept it because your wife is standing there, otherwise you'll be in trouble. Okay. If I say you are a boss, you will accept it because it's a role, all objective. The mind has no problem in accepting objective. The mind has a problem in accepting the pure subjectivity.
Yeah.
Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
So Nidigyasa means acceptance
Clear,
of the self as Brahman. That is called moksha. Are you able to accept yourself as Brahman? Is the moksha.
Okay.
Correct? Mana eva karanam
that
bandha moksha, you understood? Sorry?
Yeah, I understood. But there's resistance to accept that in the mind is due to vasanas.
Resistance to accept the
Or
mind is
beliefs.
first vasana is mind as a first vasana. If I have to experience something, if Brahman must be experienced. Infinite I have to experience, then I'll accept it. Right? Mind will raise objection. No, how can I accept something which I cannot experience? That's an objection.
Yes.
Right? Understand? So these vasana is there in the mind. And this vasana comes from your spiritual practice also. How it comes is, in spiritual practice, you do chanting, you'll feel blissful.
Yeah.
Okay, then you say, Atmananda or Brahmananda must be infinite bliss. I want to experience it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yes.
So
yes.
you want to extend every logic in the world to infinity.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 cup of coffee is bliss. So Atmananda Brahmananda is million cup of coffee. It's not possible.
That's right.
Correct, no?
That's right.
This is the challenge of the mind.
Yeah.
This is one vasana of the mind that I want to experience the infinite. Then you don't understand that when you want to experience the infinite, you will become, that's becomes finite. That's not infinite.
Yes.
Right? So this is like, I remember the story of a frog in the well. Okay. A frog was sitting is there in the well. Correct. So a bird comes there and sits on the well, wall of the well, and starts singing beautiful songs. The frog asks the bird, "Oh bird, what are you singing? My dear bird, you are singing some beautiful song. What is that you are singing?" The bird says, "I saw a ocean full of water, beautiful water, so much of water, water everywhere." Okay. Then the frog says, "What is so much of water?" Then it asks the bird. Okay. The bird says, "Lot of water." The frog in the well says, "Frog has 4 legs, no? It uses expands its leg, 2 legs. Is this much water? More water?" The bird says, "No. Then frog says, "Is this water in the well is more than water in the well?" The bird says, "No, there's more water than the well." Then frog says, "You are a liar. There cannot be more water than the well. Frog's imagination is only that much. This hand or this well."
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Frog cannot imagine an ocean.
Yeah.
Mind is like a frog. It always wants to quantify and make it finite. You understand? Okay. Atma or Brahman is an ocean. The mind comes and says, "There's no such thing because I can't experience it."
Yes.
Right? That's why many people land up in shunya. Nothing is there. Okay.
Yes.
After negative, nothing is there. Oh, they'll come back and say blankness is there.
Yeah.
What they are neglecting is the awareness which is there of the blankness is there.
Yes.
And that awareness is not finite, it's infinite. That mind has to accept it by logic.
Yes.
Mind can only understand by logic. Please understand. The Atma-jnana can be understood through logic, not for experience, because infinite cannot be experienced.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
So that's why mana eva karanam bandha mokshayoho. You understood? Is it clear?
Yes, yes, this is good. This
So
is clear.
whenever you say I am, you have
Hmm.
intuitive understanding of I am anytime.
Yes.
I am going, I am coming, I am husband, I am wife. Okay.
Hmm.
I was born here, I grew up here. That I am as unchanging reality, you have intuitive understanding anytime.
Yes.
Correct, no?
Hmm.
And also your intuitive understanding doesn't change also your intuitive understanding.
Hmm.
That means it's Sat you have intuitive understanding.
Hmm.
And you have intuitive understanding is Chit also, awareness also. I am is awareness also you are understanding.
Yes.
It doesn't require a Vedanta.
Correct.
Correct?
But I am infinite is the.
I am infinite Ananda Swarupa is missing in you. Understanding.
Hmm.
Intuitively, everybody knows Atma as I am.
Hmm.
Not the I am as a thought. What I
Yeah.
am thought is pointing, that's Atma.
Hmm.
Everything is changing. The body is changing, mind is changing, intellect is changing, but I am is not changing.
Yes.
That I am is Atma. That everybody knows Atma.
Hmm.
But because they are limiting the Atma with the body, mind, intellect superimposition,
Hmm.
the Atma seems to be limited and Ananda Swarupa of Atma seems to be hidden. Ananda means don't think that it's a happiness.
Yeah.
It's infinity.
Infinity. Yeah.
Okay. That's why Vedanta, Brahman is called Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma.
Yes.
Ananta means infinity.
Hmm.
Brahman is always referred as Satyam, means existence.
Hmm.
Jnana means Dana Swarupa, knowledge. All Dana Brahman is there.
Hmm.
Anantam is defined as Brahma, not Anandam is defined as Brahma.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is Brahma, is the definition of Brahman.
Correct.
But
Hmm.
definition of Atma is Sat Chit Ananda.
Hmm.
Existence, consciousness, Ananda, bliss.
Bliss.
So now there's a definition of Brahman and definition of Atma, there's a mismatch.
Yes.
Right? In case of Atma,
Hmm.
it is defined as Satyam, Sat, Chit, Ananda.
Hmm.
Whereas in case of Brahman, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is defined.
Yes.
So in definition of Brahman, Anantam is there. In definition of Atma, it's Anandam is there.
Correct.
So now this gives a concept to us that I have to experience Ananda.
Hmm.
So coffee Ananda, tea Ananda. I experience Ananda when I drink cup of coffee. Tea
Hmm.
Ananda. Okay.
Hmm.
Understand?
Hmm.
Or I have a yoga Ananda. I do yoga, I get Ananda.
Hmm.
I do bhajan Ananda. Bhajan I do Ananda.
Hmm.
I do meditation Ananda, Dhyana Ananda.
Hmm.
Means some bliss I get, experience I get.
Yes.
So then I start extending and Satchidananda. I want to get infinite bliss. Bliss of bhajane, bliss of bhajana has to be infinite.
Hmm.
So there is a mental vasana.
Yes.
So why the Ananda word is common to both Atma and worldly experience in the Rudhartha.
Hmm.
Rudhartha means worldly experience of the Ananda.
Yes.
Rudhartha means what I'm saying is immediate meaning of the world, Ananda.
Correct.
Okay. The essential meaning of Ananda is Ananta. Ananda comes from the root called Ananta.
Hmm.
Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. The Anantam translated as a Atma is called Ananda.
Yes.
Ananda means infinite.
Hmm.
Ananda is not your coffee Ananda, Bhajan Ananda, extended infinite fold.
Hmm.
The
It's just
Ananda
being in.
of this self cannot be experienced.
Yeah.
Ananda of the self can be accepted.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Right? So the problem is instead of accepting the Ananda
Hmm.
or infinite nature of self, we want to experience the infinite nature of self.
Yes.
Correct? That's
Hmm.
where the error is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ananda, Sachidananda, Ananda word means infinite.
Hmm.
It comes from the root Ananta.
Okay.
Then why did we use the word Ananda, which is related to our worldly knowledge also, worldly experience also? Because the Rishis want to tell us that every experience you have in the world, coffee Ananda, tea Ananda, Bhojan Ananda, Bhajan Ananda, Yoga Ananda, Dhyana Ananda, all Ananda is come from infinite Ananda. That's why we want to link to that infinity to our experience of happiness.
Okay.
Right? So throughout my life, I have intuitive understanding of I am. Anytime I have that. Everybody has that.
Yes.
That intuitive understanding I am, I superimpose the body, mind, intellect, I myself as limited.
Hmm.
So up to understanding Sat and Chit, you don't have any problem. No, Vedanta is not required. Your Ananda Swarupa, your Brahman to understand, Vedanta is required to negate your wrong understanding of Atma. Then assert the right understanding of Brahman. This is where Vedanta comes into picture. Are this clear now?
Yes.
So when you negate everything, body, mind, intellect, then what remains is Pratyegatma or innermost self. Right?
Yes.
There is another way of arriving Pratyegatma. In the waking state, my body, mind, and intellect appears and the world appears.
Yes.
In the dream state, dream body, dream mind, dream world appears.
Yes.
In dream sleep, deep sleep state, nothing is there.
Yes.
But my existence and awareness is there in all the three states.
Yes.
That existence and awareness is Pratyegatma, innermost self.
Yes.
So when Mandukya Upanishad says, I am Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, the Rishi touches his chest and says, I am Atma Brahma, very confidently.
Yeah.
So there, I am Atma refers to Pratyegatma. What is there in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state.
Yeah.
Now, why he has to ascertain that? Because what is there in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, start thinking that it's individual.
Yeah.
So that is to be ascertained as infinite.
Yes.
That's why I am Atma Brahma, the infinite nature of Brahman has to be ascertained.
Yeah.
And this ascertained acceptance has to happen in the intellect.
Okay. So I am Atma Brahma is that acceptance of that by the intellect.
Pratyegatma is Brahman, you have to accept. Pratyegatma you know anyway. Atma
Yes.
you know anyway. Whenever you speak of I am, you are speaking of Atma only.
Yes.
Pratyegatma is what is there in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state.
Yes.
All the states. Then still you start thinking that it's only for me, private Atma.
Yes.
So the Rishi has to ascertain it's not your private property.
That is
Atma is
infinite.
universal, Brahman. That ascertain is it has to be done.
Okay.
Are we clear? Huh?
So this acceptance is removal of limitation.
Removal of limitation already done by negation process.
Yes.
But what is after left of removal? You can say there's nothing there. Shunya is there, you can say.
This is acceptance of infinity. Yeah.
Acceptance of infinity. Myself is infinite. You have to accept without the experience.
Yes.
Understand? Without the proof of experience, you have to accept it. Are we clear?
Yes.
Understand?
Yeah.
So this is what is called Jnana.
Okay.
It comes from the Viveka and Vairagya, discrimination and dispassion.
Okay.
Right? It cannot come other way. It cannot come through Samadhi. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, let us understand the role of Samadhi in this. Samadhi is a practice. Samadhi is yoga chittavati nirodha, making the mind silent. Correct? No? So my mind becomes silent in deep sleep.
Yeah.
Correct? There I have bliss, Ananda.
Yes.
But there is a Nidra Ananda, sleep Ananda. That's why it's limited.
Yeah.
The Ananda is three classifications of the Ananda. Priyam, Moda, Pramoda.
Yeah.
Priya means what I like gives me happiness. I like a cup of coffee, it gives me happiness. Priya.
Yeah.
Moda means when I put the coffee into my mouth, I am acquiring the coffee. Moda.
Yeah.
So I am enjoying it. That's called Moda. Pramoda is I am satisfied. Okay. Ananda is not any of this.
Yes.
Ananda does not change. Nidra Ananda is classified as Priya, Moda, Pramoda. Because a light sleep, medium sleep, and deep sleep.
Yes.
Okay. Brahmananda or Atmananda is beyond this. It's not experiential. It is available to only knowledge. Okay. That's why Jnana alone can liberate you. Okay. Not the experience.
Yeah.
Are we clear now?
Yes.
So this is the understanding. Now this is transcendence. Transcendence means understanding what is Pratyegatma. I am that Pratyegatma, and Pratyegatma is Brahman, is transcendence.
Okay.
So now
basically it is breaking the limitation of the experience or
yeah.
Yeah.
And also breaking the concept that experience is required to realize Brahman. That's also wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So now Atma is not something which you get. Atma is Nitya Paroksha for you.
Yes.
See, any experience is available to you, any some temporarily, but Atma experience is always there for you.
Correct.
Right? But it's not experience available to the mind because of Atma, mind is there. That's why it's Nitya Paroksha. You can't get Atma separately. Is that clear?
Yes.
So all this wrong understanding has to go. That's called Atma Dhyana or Brahma Dhyana. So you have reached transcendence.
Okay.
Then transcendence, you feel very peaceful. Actually, Sukham, Nitya Sukham. Now, once this knowledge comes in your mind, once that clarity arises in your mind, once you negate it and recognize the true self, a positive recognition has happened, then Nitya Sukha, then your mind becomes calm, peaceful. That's the meaning of Vidyate Hriday Grantihi Chidyate Sarva Samshayaha. Tasmin Drashte Paravare. Upanishad Sloka. Vidyate Hriday Grantihi means ignorance not is broken. What is ignorance not? I have to experience Brahman. Brahman, then you without experience, I can't understand Brahman. Brahman is beyond my mind. All those concepts will break. Okay?
Yeah.
Chidyate Sarva Samshayaha. Now you don't have any doubt because your clarity is so much, there's no doubt at all. How can there be doubt when you have so much of clarity?
Yeah.
Tasmin Drashte Para Avare. Para Avare means, Para means beyond. Avara means Maya. So the awareness is beyond. Para is Maya. Avare means beyond that. So beyond Maya, beyond causal body, beyond causal ignorance is there. So your ignorance is also causal. You have a lot of understanding and hidden expectations of Brahmadhyana. So beyond that, you recognize Parabrahman. The Parabrahman is recognized myself, it's not recognized as an object. I am Parabrahman, that recognition happens. I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. There's no other way to recognize Parabrahman.
Okay.
Right? So now, that's the inner journey. You have gone into subject. Now you look at the objective world. Objective world is a big world available to perception. So now your mind also has become objective to you because thoughts, feelings, and emotions are objects, not the subjects. Earlier, what you used to call a subject, me, has become objective because you have gone to the pure subject, awareness, Brahman. Pradnanam Brahma. Are we clear? Yes or no? Are you there, Shravan? So are you there? Gayatri, can you pause? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me continue. Okay.
Yeah.
So is this much understood?
Yes.
So now I'll give an analogy for you to understand.
Okay.
A person goes to a doll shop.
Okay.
There he sees a very beautiful doll of
Ah.
Krishna. He is attracted by the doll. He is mesmerized by the doll. Okay. That is in name and form of the
Okay.
world.
Mm.
So then he starts inquiring, what is this doll? Now name and form is forgotten. He goes to the material of the doll.
Okay.
It is made out of brass.
Mm.
So he understands she's brass now. So name and form is forgotten. He goes to the brass, understanding of brass. Is that clear?
Yes.
So like that, name and form of the body, I have to ignore and go to the source, which is awareness and existence.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm.
Then again, he looks at the doll.
Mm.
Now he says, instead of doll, brass Krishna, brass doll of Krishna, he'll say. Now you use the material called brass doll of Krishna.
Mm.
Right? Earlier he didn't know brass, material he didn't know, substance he didn't know.
Mm.
It was only name and form.
Mm.
So now he knows the substance also. Then he uses a brass doll of Krishna.
Mm.
Correct? Similarly, once you understand the transcendent reality
Mm.
through jnana,
Mm.
you can understand the immanent reality with the name and form.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm.
So how do you understand immanent reality? Everything in the world is an experience for me.
Yes.
Correct? No experience, no world.
Yes.
The experience can be perception, thought, or feeling, or emotion is the experience.
Yes.
Perception I call as objective experience, thought, feeling, emotions as a subjective experience.
Mm.
Correct? There are only two types of experience for me, subjective and objective. Because I have done anatma and atma separation, both subject and object becomes object for me. Right? My body, mind, intellect also is object for me. I'm the pure subject. So in other words, transcendence means when everything becomes an object, I become a pure subject, then it's called transcendence. Correct? So then another problem I have to address in mind. I experience bliss in sleep. Okay, then bliss is ananda. So Brahmananda also I want to get, then I have to have stop the thoughts. So this is again a wrong logic of the mind. So that's why a frequent practice of samadhi. Samadhi, you are trying to make the mind silent. Many of the teachings are make your mind silent, make your mind blank. Correct? That's what is called samadhi abhyasa. Okay. What happens in deep sleep is the mind gets resolved into the self. Mind and intellect gets resolved into self. There's no instrument called mind and intellect and body available to you in deep sleep.
Yes.
Because mind has resolved. Samadhi also we are trying to recreate that same state of mind, body, intellect resolving into self. So I get a bliss.
Yes.
Okay. So that will not work because our problem is mind, body, intellect resolving into the self. That anyway happens in deep sleep. My problem is ignorance of the real nature of self. So that's why jnana has to happen in the waking state through viveka and vairagya.
Okay.
Then if you practice samadhi, it's a plus point.
Okay.
Right? But samadhi itself does not give jnana. Otherwise, it's not true. Jnana can help you in samadhi, but samadhi itself gives jnana is not correct.
Okay.
So what you are trying to do is samadhi, you want to experience the bliss all the time and thinking that the bliss is, I'm experiencing the bliss. So you are addicted, you get addicted to samadhi.
Okay.
That
So
means Atma, Brahmananda, you want to make it as an objective experience of samadhi. Correct?
Yeah.
Which is false. That means you want to grab the Brahmananda in terms of samadhi ananda.
Okay.
You have
So this glamour for experience is the ignorance.
Glamour for experience is ignorance.
Okay.
Are you clear?
Yeah.
So these are the things you have to overcome. I don't say samadhi should not be experienced. Samadhi can be experienced. It'll give good control of the mind.
But it gets controlled by that, or it gets limited by that.
Yeah,
experience.
if Atmadnana or Brahmananda limited to samadhi, then it's not Brahmananda. It's limited ananda.
Okay.
Right? Samadhi is very helpful, very useful for reducing your impressions, vasanas, and getting better control of the mind. No doubt about it. But samadhi is not realization.
Okay.
Realization is the clarity, absolute crystal clarity, and Atma Dnana, Brahma Dnana as a positive Dnana, which can happen as a vritti, thought. Any Dnana is vritti only, thought only.
Yeah.
In a thoughtless state, there's no Dnana possible.
Yeah.
In deep sleep, there's no Dnana possible.
Yeah.
Are we clear?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why Samadhi is encouraged, but Samadhi is not realization.
Okay.
Are we clear? So
Yeah.
people want a Nirvikalpa Samadhi, a thoughtless state. So Nirvikalpa Samadhi is deep sleep is also Nirvikalpa, no thought. Deep sleep, there's no Jnana possible.
Okay.
So Vedanta is not about Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Vedanta is about Nirvikalpa Jnana.
Okay.
All right, which is arising out of clarity.
Okay.
Nirvikalpa Samadhi is helpful because it will give you control of the mind. It will help you to reduce the vasanas. But Nirvikalpa Samadhi does not lead to mukti, Jivan Mukti. It is supportive for Jivan Mukti. It helps you to reduce your vasanas, impressions. But mukti is because of jnana. Nai jnanena sadrisham pavitram udyate. Bhagavad Gita says that. Are we clear? So jnana alone gives liberation. The clarity alone gives you liberation. Is it clear? Shravan? So jnana alone can give liberation, mukti. Understood or not?
Yeah, this is understood.
Okay. Let us take the next step. Okay. What is the role of attention in this whole thing? Right? When you say attention, any knowledge can happen, any knowledge can be there only with the attention. Okay. For example, I want to see this banana. Attention, my attention has to go to banana.
Yes.
Right? If my attention is on the wall, I cannot see banana. Knowledge of banana is not happening.
Yeah.
Correct, no? When the attention goes, my sense organs and the mind go towards that one object, take the form of the object, and jnana is there.
Yeah.
It's called vritti jnana.
Yes.
Right? Vritti apti, it is called, we call it vritti apti. The thought has to, mind has to occupy the object. Mind has to take the form of vritti to vritti of the mind, thought of the mind has to happen. First, it has to take the form of a banana. My sense organs and mind have to go towards that. Vritti apti, it's called vritti apti.
Yeah.
Mind has to take the form of banana. That's called vritti apti. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Then phalavapti is there. Phalavapti means, oh, this is banana. Understanding is there. Vritti vyapti and phalavapti, two things are there.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
So now, without attention, there is no jnana possible. Is that also clear?
Yes.
So right now in your attention, my video is there. But if jnana of a TV doesn't happen there because attention is not there. Where attention goes, jnana it goes. Attention is nothing but mana. Mana, buddhi, manasu, buddhi, ahankar. Mana part is attention. Mana.
Yes.
So the mana has to go back to the self, atma. To
Yes.
get atma jnana.
Yeah.
Correct, no? Otherwise, there's no jnana possible in the mind. Is it clear? For jnana, the attention has to go back to self. Now, attention always follows the intention. Intention will drive the attention. Is it clear?
Yeah. Intention will drive the attention. Yeah.
So, my intention is to eat food. Then my attention will go to the food. Correct?
Correct.
Our intention and
Yes.
attention always in the worldly objects. Always. Because we are looking for ananda there.
Correct.
So, only when you realize Atma is Brahmananda, intention becomes mukshatva. Moksha.
Okay.
So the moksha drives the attention inwards.
Ah,
Correct? Otherwise, it's always outwards.
outward. Yeah.
That's why Ramana Maharshi asks, ask who am I? That
Hmm.
means take your attention to the source of I thought.
Mm.
Correct? So attention has to be taken to the source of I thought.
Yes.
But the problem is the source of I thought is not an object.
Yes.
I thought is an object, but the source of I thought is not an object.
Yeah.
Correct? So when attention goes to the source of object, which is not I thought,
Mm.
then attention merges with the source.
Okay.
Right? Because attention is not different from the source.
Mm.
So this is the mind becomes no mind.
Okay.
Mind, attention has merged with the source.
Mm.
Now jnana happens.
Mm.
What has happened? Vritti vyapti and phala vyapti is there. There are two aspects. Vritti vyapti means the mind has thought has to take the form of object. Then jnana has to be there.
Correct.
Vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. Correct?
Yeah.
Now vritti vyapti, what has happened? The attention has taken the form of Brahman, awareness.
Correct.
Right? What is the phala vyapti now?
It should be
So phala vyapti is not there.
not there. Yeah.
Your voice is very weak, son.
Uh,
Phala
I don't
vyapti is
know.
not there in the Atma Dhyana.
okay.
Because Atma is always known to you as myself.
Yeah.
So vritti vyapti, attention goes back to self,
Yes.
awareness.
Yeah.
When you
Phala
enter-
vyapti is not there means there is nothing recognized as this is Brahman.
Nothing can be recognized as this is Brahman, object.
Correct.
In the phala vyapti, what is recognized? I am Brahman is recognized. That's phala vyapti.
Okay.
Right?
Ah.
Understood the difference?
Yes. Yes.
The
Mhm.
entire journey, attention has to travel outwards and attention has to travel inwards. When you say inwards, it goes to subject, body, mind, intellect first, and then it goes to beyond body, mind, intellect, transcendence.
And mumukshatva means this desire to look at attention inwards or bring it in.
Mumukshatva means I want freedom. Atma is freedom, Brahman is freedom. So
Yeah.
that seeking will take
So that
you inwards.
intention which will drive the
That intention has to
attention
drive
inwards.
with the attention.
Okay.
That is called mukti. That's the mukti marga.
Okay.
Is that clear?
And stronger the intention, the better is the attention towards inwards.
No, no, no.
Ah.
The strong and weak will not bring the word strong and weak. It's all very relative. Okay.
Okay.
See, these are all cropping up in the spiritual parallel. Strong, how strong? Okay. Right? I go and ask a shopkeeper, give me a strong copy. How strong copy? 2 cups, 2 spoons, or 3 spoons. So don't bring this word
Okay.
stronger and all.
Uh,
Ultimately, it's a clarity.
yeah.
It's crystal clear clarity. What is Atma? What is Anatma? It comes through only Vedanta Jnana.
Okay.
There may be many people have strong desire for mumukshatva because they don't understand what is mumukshatva.
Uh,
Okay, the strongness is helpful to move in certain direction, but
Ah.
clarity will help you to move.
correct.
Right? I would not use the word strong. I would say clarity.
Okay.
Correct? And how does the
Yeah.
clarity come?
Yeah. How does it
Through-
come?
Through Shravana, your name, Shravana Kumara. So you have got a beautiful name. You know Mukti Marga. Your name itself is Mukti Marga, Shravana Kumara. You know what is
Ah.
Shravana Kumara?
uh,
Shravana means listening. Kumara
Listening.
means what is born out of listening, Jnana.
but
So your name itself is Mukti Marga.
okay.
Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa is the way. There's no other way. Strong desire. Okay, what happens is strong desire means the strong desire will take you to Atmadana, Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa. The same strong desire can take you to Himalayas also, but you will not find Atma there. Atma is to be found here, in the where you are. Atma is also here and now, right? It cannot be nowhere, no.
Yeah.
So if you say I'll go to Himalayas and find Atma, that means you have made Atma available in this place. Atma is limited.
Yeah.
If you say I'll find Atma one day by sadhana, that means you have made Atma available in time. So you are already imposed time and limitation. How will you find that?
Yeah.
So Atma has to be found here and now. Okay, the here and now word is a very strange word. You turn it nowhere. Nowhere means not in time, not in space, not in the body, not in the mind, not in the intellect. That's why it's transcendence. Nowhere is transcendence.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You turn it around, it becomes now and here, in the time and space also.
Yeah.
Right? Atma is
Yeah.
nowhere and Atma is now and here.
Now and here.
All right? Both you have to do. Only transcendence, if you do, it's not sufficient.
Yeah.
Correct? By
Yeah.
transcendence, you have to recognize Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman.
Mm.
Then you have to recognize Sarvam Khalu Brahma. Oh, this is Brahman. Okay, that is called immanence, now and here.
Yeah.
Nowhere and now and here is to be both to be understood. That's only realization is.
Okay.
If you say, I have realized my Atma in Samadhi, that means you are not realized.
Mm.
If you realize that I have realized Atma in the world, then also you are not realized.
Mm.
The subject-object duality, the transcendence and immanence duality has to collapse.
Mm.
Correct?
Okay.
Now we'll come back to immanence. The person has seen the Krishna idol. He says the bronze. Bronze as the material. Then now he says, oh, bronze Krishna, bronze Krishna. He always refers to Krishna as bronze Krishna because it refers to base material. So that way, when you do that, when you transcend it, when you come back to the world, you understand awareness and existence is there in every experience.
Mm.
Any experience.
Mm.
Think of the star, mind goes to the star.
Mm.
But awareness and existence is there in that thought.
Yes.
Correct, no?
Mm.
So awareness and existence being in the thought,
Mm.
mind goes to space or moon, anywhere the mind is there.
Yeah.
So without awareness, can there be a thought?
No.
Without awareness, can there be a thought?
No.
Without thought, there can be an object?
No.
So object and thought are dependent on awareness.
Yes.
So if you are dependent on awareness, you are the Atma of everything in the world. Every thought and every feeling and every experience, you are the Atma.
Mm.
That's why it's Sarvatma.
Mm.
Sarvatma means the entire world. The self is appearing as the entire world.
Mm.
Okay? Or entire world is Atma. World is body is Atma. Mind is Atma. Now you have to integrate. Immanent and transcendent, you have to integrate.
Okay.
Right? Otherwise it disintegrate. No, it will become Dvaita, duality.
Yeah.
What you have left as an Atma, you have to recognize it as an Atma.
Yeah.
Then why did you separate out Atma and Anatma? Because you are identifying only with the part of the world, which is the body and mind. Now, when your entire world is identified with Atma, there is no separation. Instead of identifying with the wave, you are identifying the water and ocean. Is the totality.
Instead of identifying with the water, I'm
Instead of
identifying
with the wave, which is limited.
Yeah.
The wave is the body and mind intellect. You are identifying the water, which is awareness. Then you recognize that ocean and wave all are water. So that is called Sarvatma Bhava.
Okay.
The duality collapses.
Okay.
Again, this is not an experience. This is a clarity, understanding.
Okay.
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 So I am the self of all. Right? So that's why one day Ramana Maharshi was looking at a mountain, Tiruvannamalai. Somebody asked him, Ramana Maharshi, what are you looking at? He says, I am looking at myself. Correct? So the person started visualizing Tiruvannamalai mountain in the form of Ramana Maharshi's body. For the person, Ramana Maharshi is the body. So he starts visualizing the mountain as the body. So when say Ramana Maharshi says myself,
he's looking at the self. He's looking at the self.
Existence aspect of the mountain, which is Sat, and awareness, which is eliminating that existence aspect, Chit. So can the mountain exist without Sat and Chit?
No.
So mountain is nothing but a name and form in Sat and Chit. So that's where Ramana Maharshi says, I'm looking at myself, Sat and Chit. But people who don't understand this, they start visualizing mountain in the form of Ramana Maharshi. Because for them, body is Ramana Maharshi. For Ramana Maharshi, Atma is Ramana Maharshi.
Okay.
Is it clear? So entire Vedanta journey starts from Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. So Mithyatva of Jagat has to be understood. Name and form is Mithya. So when you say Mithya, it has no substance of its own. Right?
Okay.
A mud pot A mud pot is there. There's no substance for the mud pot.
Mm.
Pot is name and form.
Mm.
What is the substance of mud pot? It's mud is the name and
Mud
substance of pot.
Yeah.
Correct? So is there a mud pot or mud? Mud only is appearing as a pot.
Yeah.
Are there two substances called pot and the mud?
No.
So mud only is appearing as pot. So similarly, Brahma only is appearing as the world. But we think that world is real. There's an independent entity called world. That's called Mithya.
Mm.
There's no necklace other than gold. There's no world other than Brahman. That is the meaning of Mithyatva. It's a dependent reality.
Okay.
So then Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya you start. Then you recognize Atma is Brahman, you recognize. Then you come to immanent. Then the world is now Brahman only. Because anything I experience in the world, Sat, Chit, Ananda is always there.
Okay.
So now you are not looking for an experience of Brahman. You have a knowledge of Brahman, very clear knowledge of Brahman in the conscious state is there.
Mm.
So now the conscious knowledge gradually goes into subconscious knowledge also.
Okay.
Correct? That happens in your life. Driving your
Okay.
life, you learn very consciously. Conscious learning you do. Drive slow, driving you do.
Mm.
You are very conscious of where is the accelerator, where is the brake. Then
Yes.
over a period of time, what is conscious becomes subconscious. The driving becomes subconscious.
Mm.
Now the driving has integrated conscious mind and subconscious mind.
Yes.
So now whenever you drive, after the experience, you don't have to drive very, very consciously. That's conscious mind does not work. Subconscious mind will drive.
Mm.
Any learning is conscious first and subconscious later.
Yeah.
Correct, no?
Mm.
So it's cooking also. People cook. Initially, they have to be very careful how much salt they have to put, how much what you call as sambar powder they have to put. Very conscious.
Mm.
After some time, they can talk somewhere, they can listen to music and still do the cooking very comfortably without many problem.
Mm.
Because conscious has become subconscious.
Yes.
Now, what you get now from me is conscious jnana.
Mm.
Your conscious mind has become clear.
Yeah.
So that has to seep into subconscious.
Mm.
Subconscious has a lot of already impressions.
Yeah.
I am so and so. So till yesterday you think that Shravan Kumar is a name given to you, right?
Yes.
Now you get a Dana. Shravan Kumar is Dana Marga. Shravana means listening. Kumara means what is born out of listening.
Yes.
What is born out of listening? Nana. That means your name is Nana. Your name is you are not Shravan Kumara. Atmat Nana is your name. Did you ever think of that?
No.
So Jnana shifts our perception. Jnana shifts our understanding. Correct? So for a Jnani, the world perception doesn't change.
Mm.
The understanding changes.
Okay.
So you see a rope and a snake. You see a snake.
Ah.
You're afraid earlier. Okay.
Okay.
So now, after going to looking at a snake very closely, then you understand it's a rope.
Mm.
Rope is a jnana. Snake is a superimposition.
Mm.
So once you get jnana,
Mm.
okay. So snake appears to be illusion.
Mm.
Now the light may be dim. There may be dim light, but still it may appear as a snake. The rope may appear as a snake.
Mm.
Your perception has not changed.
Mm.
Your understanding has changed.
Yeah.
Now you are not afraid of the rope. You are
Okay.
afraid of the snake.
Okay.
Are you clear? So now what happened? What is happening to us is jnana chakshu has to open.
Yes.
Means jnana, you should get a crystal clear clarity. What is Atma? What is Brahman? Who am I? What is the nature of the world? The crystal clarity is called Atma Jnana.
Mm.
That is mukti. Now, why mukti has not happened? Because your subconscious mind will not accept what you say, conscious mind says.
Correct.
Right? It is a
Yeah.
long-standing habit pattern.
Yes.
Okay? That habit
Yes.
pattern you have to change by repeated Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. That means you have to become genuinely Shravan Kumar.
Yeah.
So any habit by repetition many times, that habit gets become deep subconscious impression. It will remove other subconscious impressions.
Mm.
So Nididhyasa, in other words, means
Mm.
acceptance of Vedic truths, Vedanta truths, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. Acceptance of that is nididhyasa.
Acceptance that
consciousness?
everything is existence and consciousness. And
Acceptance at the conscious level and subconscious level.
Yeah.
The conscious mind and subconscious mind have to integrate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is a split in the mind. Consciously, you say, oh, I attend so many satsanga, I know all Vedas, I Upanishads, but still I have not realized.
Yeah.
The subconscious mind still you have old vasanas are there. I am Shravan Kumar, I am so and so, I am husband of so and so, I am this and so. Vasanas are there.
Yeah.
The subconscious mind, conscious mind, both are integrated, then he becomes a gnani. If just conscious mind you have understood, subconscious mind is not integrated, then you can become a very good scholar, Pandita.
Pandita, but not a Gnani.
Not a gnani. Right? When the conscious mind and subconscious mind both are integrated, then you become a santa, saint. Okay? You become a Mahatma. People will be blessed by your presence. But to become a guru, you need to have the ability to teach.
Yes.
Right? Teach, bring the clarity of highest wisdom to the lowest level. Understand?
Yes.
The supreme truth has to be made by a common man. That person alone is qualified to be called a Sadguru. Now Sadguru has become a title also. Everybody can be called a Sadguru. Sadguru is Atma only. But Sadguru has to be, the role of Sadguru has to be performed, which is bringing the highest truth to the common man.
Okay.
This is told in the form of a story called Bhagiratha Prayatna. Have you heard of that?
Bhagirat Prayatna, I heard.
Bhagiratha tries to bring Ganga from Vishnupada to the earth. Right? Bringing Ganga from Sarga to earth is not an easy job.
Yes.
So he does a lot of tapasya and brings it. Okay. Now Ganga makes the earth purified. People, the civilization grows around that. So this is actually one way of explaining the spiritual truth. The highest spiritual truth has to be made available to common man.
Okay.
That is called Sadguru.
Okay.
So your head is transformed, heart is transformed, but your actions are not transformed.
Yes.
That means you are still selfish. That means the real transformation has not happened.
Yeah.
Then what will happen? The hands will serve the world, because everything, the world is yourself. Many people live in illusion. I have realized, enlightened. But the hands transformation has not happened. There's only head transformation happened. Intellectual understanding is there.
Yeah.
The heart has to transform, head, heart, and hands have to transform.
Yes.
Hands that serve, the heart that is peaceful, the head has that clarity. That's called Brahmadnana.
Okay. Wonderful.
Are we clear?
Yeah. This is good. This is wonderful.
So now I want to bring a little bit of clarity here.
Yeah.
So people think that Atmadnana or Brahmadnana is experience. Atmadnana, Brahmadnana is a crystal clear clarity, conscious and subconscious.
Okay.
Translating into your action.
Okay.
Right? You have become a total integrated personality. Head, heart, and hands will integrate. Otherwise, you are split personality.
Yeah.
Head is separate, hand is separate, heart is separate. How is that possible? Suppose I am diabetic. My intellect says, don't eat sugar. But my hands will go and pick up a cup of coffee, sugar, and sweet and put into my mouth. At the end, hands are not cooperating.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So now, that's head and hand not cooperating. I see some person. I don't like the person. Okay, my deep inside, my heart is saying, I don't like the person. But I'm afraid. I'm afraid to avoid the person. So I smile and talk to the person.
Yeah.
Conscious head and hands are cooperating, but heart is not cooperating.
Yeah.
Right? In a Gnani, head, heart, and hands both become one integrated whole.
Yeah.
Correct? That is called WHO, whole. If somebody is whole, then he is holy. Right?
Yeah.
We speak now, your holiness will say. Your holiness means you have become whole. Otherwise, he cannot become holiness.
Yeah.
Right? Holiness is just a title. So we'll say Guru. The Guru who doesn't teach is not a Guru.
Yeah.
Guru who doesn't teach Atmadnana is not a Guru. Guru who has not head, heart, and hand is not integrated is not a Sadguru.
Yeah.
Are we clear? So then I'll just tell a story.
Mm.
So 10 people wanted to cross a guru had 10 shishyas.
Mm.
He asked them to cross a river and
Mm.
go to other ashram on the other bank side.
Mm.
And he gave the responsibility to the head of the group,
Mm.
his chief disciple, take care of all of them.
Mm.
They cross the river and there's a flood.
Mm.
They somehow they struggle and they reach the other shore.
Mm.
Correct? When they reach the other shore, the
Yes.
Shishya counts the people 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
The 10th man is missing.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm. Yeah.
So he starts crying. How can I show my face to Guru? 10th man is missing. Correct?
Mm.
So there is a cry. Then somebody comes and says, count again, count including yourself. Now 10 men are there. That means he forgot to count himself.
Right.
So Vedanta is not getting something what you don't have.
Ah.
Vedanta is not about getting experience what you don't have. Recognizing what experience what you have. It's like a
Okay.
10th man story.
Yeah.
Right? So, but what we want to do is we want to get a new experience of 10th man. That's a problem. Oh,
Yes.
Brahmadana experience I want to have. That's what is your problem.
Yeah.
You are the Brahman, you can't recognize, you're not able to recognize. Mind refuses that. Who is the 10th man here? Tell me.
Self,
Awareness.
oneself, awareness.
Okay. So now look at your room, right?
Mm. Mm.
Just note 3 objects.
Mm.
So now what are the objects you have noticed?
Yeah, 3 objects, but not the self or the light.
Light which is illuminating the 3 objects you don't notice.
Yeah.
Awareness which illuminates the other objects is not noticed.
Yes.
Awareness is taken for granted.
Yeah.
Atma-jnana is pointing out to your awareness which is infinite, which is taken for granted. You are taking Brahman as granted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we want to look at Brahman as an experience. We are seeking that experience. Where can you find, which is everywhere in all experiences, that's called immanent.
Yeah.
So gradually what will happen, transcendent and immanent becomes one reality. There's no cause of transcendent and immanent. There's only one reality called Brahman.
Okay.
So then he is called Turyatita.
Okay.
As long as you use the word called, use the transcendent and immanent.
Mm.
The Turiya means transcendent. It
Yeah.
is beyond waking state, dream state, deep sleep state.
Yes.
The Turiya has a reference of waking state, dream state, deep sleep state.
Correct.
Okay, it's actually what you call as a relative reference, not an absolute
Correct.
reference.
Correct.
Correct, no?
Yeah.
So then waking state, dream state, deep sleep state also is recognized as Brahman.
Mm.
Then there's nothing called Turiya. Now there is no beyond 3 doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Beyond 3 is when you are in one of the waking state, dream state, there's a beyond 3.
Yeah.
When all states are same as Brahman, Turiya does not make sense at all.
Yeah. That is Turiya.
Then you are called Turyatita or Brahmanishta or Gnani.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So Brahmanishta also you have to understand.
Mm.
Nishta means commitment or something you are committed.
Mm.
So when you say, my mind is in my job, my mind is in my job.
Mm.
So mother is working, her mind is always in the child.
Mm.
Is there something called physical, some mind is in the child?
No. No.
No, no.
Yeah. Mm.
So the my mother's thoughts are in the child. Your thoughts are in the job.
Correct.
So anytime Aham Brahmasmi awareness is there for a person, he becomes Brahmanishta. It's a thought.
Anytime awareness is there.
Anytime the main predominant thought is Aham Brahmasmi, then he's called Brahmanishta. It's a thought.
Okay. Okay.
Correct, no?
Yeah.
See, Brahmanishta, we have a concept, right? What is a Brahmanishta? Just like that, right now, are you a man?
Yes.
I am a man is a thought there, either conscious or subconscious.
Correct.
Correct, no?
Yeah.
Consciously, you don't have to think I am a man.
Yeah.
Subconscious thought that I am a man is there already in you. Because subconscious already deep-rooted thought that I am a man is there.
Okay. Yeah.
Gnani or Brahmanishta, subconscious thought and conscious thought I am Brahman is there all the time.
Okay.
Correct? He doesn't have to remember. Consciously, he doesn't have to remember.
Mm.
Subconsciously, he knows I am Brahman.
Mm.
It is just dormant, but it's there.
Yeah.
Just like you don't have to remember I am a man or a woman anytime.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm.
It's there in subconscious. That's sufficient.
Yeah.
Then some occasion comes, the man thought will come. Similarly, Gnani doesn't have to remember he is Brahman. Gnani
Yeah.
doesn't have to practice he is Brahman.
Hmm.
Okay, subconsciously and consciously is Brahman.
Hmm.
He is called Brahmanishta. And Brahmanishta means a thought that I am Brahman. It can be conscious thought or subconscious thought.
Yeah.
Correct?
Hmm.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Brahmanishta, Gnanishta. Is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
So a guru has to be Shrotriya and Brahmanishta. That means he himself has to be established in that.
Hmm.
Turyatita.
Yeah.
That means Turyatita means he doesn't have to think I am Brahman. He doesn't have to practice I am Brahman.
Yeah.
Naturally, he is Brahman. His actions, head, heart, and hands are in sync.
In sync. Hmm.
Then he should be Shrotriya. That means he has to be able to explain all Vedantic concepts in a simple way, clear way, so that reaches common man.
Yes.
It's like Ganga has to be reaching all common people to have a food,
Yeah.
right? That person is called Shrotriya, Brahmanishta. That's called Sadguru. If
Yes.
somebody is not able to explain that teaching, but he is a great being because his head and heart is transformed, his actions are not able to teach, then he's called Santa or Mahatma, saint.
Yeah.
Saint and Mahatma, you can get a blessing. If somebody's head is transformed, but not heart is transformed, not hands are transformed, that is called Pandita. He can talk clearly.
Hmm.
If head and heart and hands are not transformed, they're split, then it's called common man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So then also I want one more clarification about nature of Atmadnana. There are only two types of Jnana possible for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So suppose you want to go to Himalayas.
Uh,
You don't know the way. You don't know the direction. You don't have any information.
yeah.
Correct?
Hmm.
So then what will happen? You say, I want to go to Himalayas. Then you will take a road map. You will ask somebody who has gone to Himalayas. You'll get knowledge.
Hmm.
Right? First you get knowledge.
Hmm.
Then you travel.
Hmm.
Then you experience Himalayas.
Hmm.
Correct?
Hmm. Yes.
So what is sequence here? Knowledge followed by action followed by experience.
Correct.
Correct? This is one type of knowledge.
Yes.
There's a second type of knowledge.
Uh,
I went to Nepal.
uh,
So Nepal, I'm looking for a king's palace. My idea of a palace is Mysore Palace, very big, magnificent palace.
yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for a magnificent palace because my idea is magnificent palace. So I'm standing somewhere and asking somebody, where is the king's palace?
Hmm.
So he's saying, this is the king's palace. I'm standing in front of a king's palace. I'm not able to recognize that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the king's palace is the recognition.
Okay.
Now in this, what has happened? Experience is already there. Are we clear? Someone?
Yeah. So experiences got fulfilled.
Experience is there. Okay. Knowledge does not need to experience. Knowledge only clarifies the experience.
Yes.
And knowledge to experience, there's no gap of traveling or doing something.
Correct.
Correct, no?
Hmm.
So knowledge only clarifies the experience.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah.
The experience
So
you're already having. Knowledge only is clarifying it.
yeah.
This is the second category. It's called Atmadnana.
Okay.
Atma is your eternal experience, Nitya experience. Whenever you say, come, I am already your Atma.
Yes.
But you are not able to recognize that as Brahman, supreme reality.
Hmm.
So Vedanta is only helping you to clarify through Jnana. So now many people think that Aham Brahmasmi, I have to do some work to get the Jnana. They're making this Jnana into first category. Knowledge, action, and experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not so.
Hmm.
Knowledge is experience.
Yeah.
Are we clear now?
Yes.
So now the first category, knowledge, action, experience. Many people think that, oh, I got a Tattvamasi Jnana, I have to do Samadhi practice and get experience. That means you are bringing knowledge, practice, and experience, which is wrong. Knowledge only helps you to experience, understand experience.
Yes.
That's Atmadnana.
Yes.
I'll give one more example. Every day morning you see sun rising and sun setting.
Yes.
You say sun is going around the earth.
Yes.
Then scientists will come and tell you, no, my dear, sun is not rising. Sun is not going around the earth. Earth is going around sun.
Yes.
So now is your experience changes?
No.
Experience
Yeah.
doesn't change. Experience is the same.
Yeah.
But your understanding of experience changes.
Correct.
Correct? The Vedanta
Hmm.
belongs to second category. Our understanding of experience changes, not the experience itself changes.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Hmm.
So whole of our life, our sadhana is to get a new experience,
Yes.
which you are missing.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
So Vedanta belongs to a category where your experience is understood in a new light.
Hmm.
That light is called enlightenment, clarity.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, when that goes deep into your subconscious, then it's a liberation, freedom. Until it goes deeper into your subconscious, not liberation is not there. The light comes to the first conscious mind, then light deeper goes into subconscious mind. Whole mind has to be illuminated with the jnana.
Okay.
Partial illumination will not help.
Hmm.
Or
Yes.
it'll help, but it'll help not fully.
Yes. So Nididhyasa helps to unmask whatever blockages are there
Yes,
to keep this
Nididhyasa,
knowledge.
Shravana, you have understood jnana, Manana, you have clarified, right?
Hmm.
Use it for Nididhyasa.
Hmm.
The first thought comes,
Ah.
what am I doing here? I have done meditation for 20 years. Where can I get Brahman? First thought. So
Yeah.
I have done so much of meditation now. Then you say, I learned so much of Upanishads. Still, I'm not getting jnana.
Ah.
Then you have to counter with the right thought.
Ah.
What is the right thought? So I'm already Brahman.
I am already Brahman.
Okay. I
Okay.
cannot become Brahman. I cannot get experience of Brahman. You have to counter that thought.
Yeah. I think
Like,
this clamor for experience is the mistake. Is the error.
okay. What is common, we neglect.
Yeah.
We will never bother about air. We'll never
Hmm.
bother about light, sunlight. They are
Hmm.
available to us freely.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay. God is the God, or Brahman is the most common thing in the universe.
Okay.
So we miss it. And we go and search in Himalayas. We go and search in the caves. We go and search in the sea. We go and search in temples where it is available in abundance all around.
Hmm.
It's like two fish in the sea. So one fish in the sea is asking other fish, I've heard of water. Water is the primary source of life. Where is water?
Hmm.
Show me water. The
Yeah.
other fish is saying, let us do a pilgrimage. We'll find water.
Yeah. Yeah. It is like that. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. It's very clear. Thanks a lot, Guruji. Thanks a lot.
We'll close with a prayer.
Yeah.
Asatoma,
Asatoma,
Sadgamaya,
Sadgamaya,
Tamasoma,
Tamasoma,
Jyotirgamaya,
Jyotirgamaya,
Mrityorma,
Mritchorma,
Amritam Gamaya,
Amrutangamaya.
Om,
Om
Shanti,
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 Shantihi,
Shantihi,
Purnamadaha,
Purnamada,
Purnamidam,
Purnamidam,
Purnat,
Purnat,
Purnamuduchyate,
Purnamudachyate,
Purnasya,
Purnasya,
Purnamadaya,
Purnamadaya,
Purnamevavashishyate.
Purnamevavasishyate.
Om,
Om
Shanti,
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 Shantihi,
Shantihi,
Nanu,
Nanu,
Nanembudu,
Nanimbudu,
Nanalla,
Nanalla,
Ideha,
Ideha,
Manabuddhi,
Manabuddhi,
Nanalla,
Nanalla,
Sachidanandatma,
Sachidanandatma,
Shivanamnani,
Shivananunani,
Shivoham,
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 Shivoham.
Shivoham.
I'm not the body,
I'm not the body,
I'm not the mind,
I'm not the mind,
I'm not the intellect,
I'm not the intellect,
I'm pure consciousness,
I'm pure consciousness.
Shivaswarupi.
Shivaswarupi.
Atmadarshanam,
Atmadarshanam,
Brahmadarshanam,
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 Satyadarshanam.
Satyadarshanam.
To know the self
To know the self,
is to know God.
to know God.
To know God
To know God
is to be God.
is to be God.
To be God
To be God,
is to know the truth.
to know the truth.
Antarjyotihi,
Antarjyotihi,
Bahirjyotihi,
Bahirjyotihi,
Pratyakjyotihi,
Pratyakjyotihi,
Paratpara,
Parat para.
Jyotireva Jyotihi,
Jyotireva Jyoti.
Swayam Jyotihi,
Swayam Jyotihi.
Atma Jyotihi,
Atma Jyotihi.
Shivosmiham.
Shivosmiham.
I am the light
I am the light
of the self,
of the self.
awareness.
Awareness.
I am the illumination
I am the illumination
of the entire world.
of the entire world.
I illuminate the mind
I illuminate the mind
with thoughts,
with thoughts,
without thoughts.
without thoughts.
I am beyond all lights,
I am beyond all lights,
supreme light,
supreme light,
Paranjyoti.
Paranjyoti.
I am Shivaswarupi.
I am Shivaswarupi.
I am Atma Jyoti,
I am Atma Jyoti,
light of the self.
light of the self.
See, our the organization which I founded, its name is called Light of the Self Foundation. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
You know the meaning of that?
Yeah.
The foundation of the universe is nothing but light of the self.
Yes.
It is not an organization, it is a Brahman's name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I call people as Atma Jyoti. Atma Jyoti
Yeah.
means you are light of self, Atma Jyoti, Brahman.
Yeah.
Right. Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukino bhavantu.
sukino bhavantu.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukino bhavantu.
sukino bhavantu.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
sukino bhavantu.
sukino bhavantu.
Harihi Om.
Harihi Om.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om.
Harihi Om.
Any questions are there?
No, thanks, Guruji.
Okay.
Yeah, you understood my mistake. Yeah.